Before we jump into today's episode, I am so excited to be able to tell you that my debut book, Optimal You, Supercharge Your Energy, Strengthen Your Immunity, is now published. Optimal You is a groundbreaking guide uncovering the 8 pillars of health for supercharged energy and strengthened immunity to optimize your health and extend your health span. Delve into evidence-based strategies to optimize nutrition, balance your lifestyle, reduce toxin exposure, and address root causes of health imbalances. It includes a 14-step anti-inflammatory nutrition blueprint to supercharge your mitochondria and fortify your immune system. Plus, you get my 4 lifestyle S's: sleep, stress, strength, and social, that form the foundation of optimal well-being. On top of all that, when you buy the book, you get access to a special area on the website that gives you all the resources, plus recipes and guides that we talk about within the book. You can empower yourself with practical tools and insights to embark on a transformative journey towards Optimal You. Head over to optimalyoubook.com to get your copy now, or you can get your copy from Amazon worldwide or your local bookstore. When you've got your copy, don't forget to share on social media, tag me in it at good_health, GOODE, and use the hashtag OptimalYouBook. I can't wait to see what you think of the book, and I really hope that it brings you lots of health and wellness. Now let's head to today's episode.
Welcome to the Good Health Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Good, a certified functional medicine practitioner, registered nutritionist, and author. In this podcast, we delve into the world of energy and immune health and wellness with positivity, from optimal health and energy to stress and burnout, right through to immune conditions such as thyroid and autoimmune disease. We deep dive into functional medicine, nutritional medicine, and lifestyle medicine, as well as the personal stories of our amazing guests, from Olympians to famous faces and guest experts from all different parts of the health and wellness world. It's time to stop letting your health hold you back and become the optimal version of you. Don't forget to come and join the conversation on Instagram at good_health, that's GOODE, or visit the website nicolegoodhealth.com to find out more.
Welcome back to the Good Health Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Good, certified functional medicine practitioner. And today we're diving into reverse T3. If you have a thyroid condition, this is something that you are going to want to listen to. Reverse T3 is one of those markers that we measure in functional medicine that is rarely, if ever, measured in conventional medicine. So let's dig into this marker and find out exactly what reverse T3 is. Understanding the significance of reverse T3 in thyroid health is really crucial for diagnosing and managing thyroid disorders. Reverse T3, or RT3 as you may see it on your tests, is a metabolite of T4, and its levels can provide insight into thyroid function and thyroid health. The balance between your T3 and your reverse T3 is crucial for maintaining normal thyroid function, and an imbalance can lead to hypothyroid symptoms despite sufficient circulating levels of T4 and T3. And this is really important, despite sufficient levels. Essentially, reverse T3 is putting the brakes on metabolism, whereas T3 is the accelerator. So what T3 accelerates, reverse T3 slows. T3 is the active thyroid hormone that drives metabolism, energy production, and that overall cellular function. Your thyroid primarily produces T4, which has to be converted into T3 to be used by the body. This conversion happens mainly in the liver, the gut, and other tissues. Once that T3 is available, it enters the cells and activates processes like temperature regulation, brain function, digestion, fat metabolism, and much more. Without enough T3, everything is going to slow down, and that leads to this fatigue, this brain fog, weight gain, sluggish digestion. But there's another player in this process that can really throw things off, and that's the reverse T3. Instead of activating metabolism, reverse T3 blocks T3 from doing its job. It can really make you feel hypothyroid even when your labs look normal, and that's the really important part. Like we said, it's the brakes. It's putting on the brakes. T3 is the accelerator, reverse T3 is the brakes. But your test results, if you're lucky enough to be looking at T3, because quite often people will only be getting tested on TSH, maybe T4. If you're lucky enough that you're getting T3, those T4, T3 levels could be looking really normal and you could still be experiencing symptoms. And sometimes that is down to this reverse T3. So let's have a look at why it happens and how it affects thyroid health. Your body produces reverse T3 as a survival mechanism. It's usually in response to stress, to illness, to nutrient deficiencies, so lots of other root causes. And in small amounts, this is very normal. But when reverse T3 levels are too high, it can lead to functional hypothyroidism. And this is where your cells can't access enough active T3, even if your thyroid is technically producing enough of the hormone. So your labs may look normal, even if your T3 level is normal, you can still have reverse T3 that is too high, and then we're still going to see these symptoms. So here's what happens when reverse T3 is too high. We're going to see more fatigue, and we're going to see more brain fog. And this is because T3 is needed for that mitochondrial energy production. So if we've got high reverse T3 and we're blocking that use of T3, that can leave you feeling wiped out, mentally sluggish, and struggling to focus. We're also going to get slowed metabolism, which means we're going to get more weight gain. So with that T3 blocked now by the reverse T3, your body shifts into energy conservation mode. And that's going to make it harder for you to lose weight or easier for you to gain it. And that can be despite healthy habits. So if you're putting weight on despite doing all the right things, then reverse T3 might be something that you need to look at. Another thing we're going to get is those cold hands, cold feet, low body temperature. So reduced T3 activity means that your body actually produces less heat. And that is leading to those constant chills or poor circulation. We can also get hair thinning and brittle nails. Hair follicles are highly sensitive to thyroid function. So without enough of that T3, again, there might be enough, but reverse T3, the RT3 is blocking it from being taken up. That hair growth is going to slow down or potentially stop altogether. And again, it's going to have the same impact on your nails. We can also get sluggish digestion and constipation. And this is because your gut relies on T3 to keep things moving. And high reverse T3 can lead to that bloating, slow transit time, digestive discomfort, because it's blocking your body from using that T3. Poor stress resilience as well and mood changes. Because T3 plays a role in brain chemistry, excess reverse T3 can contribute to that anxiety, low mood, even depression, because your brain chemistry is not getting enough of that T3. We can also see exercise intolerance or muscle weakness. So this is where reverse T3 is high, that muscle recovery slows down, and workouts can leave you feeling really depleted instead of energized. So all of a sudden, your thyroid labs look normal, and that could be your TSH, T4, T3 could look completely normal, but you're experiencing symptoms and you're still not feeling better. And that's because the reason is being missed. Something else is going on. The key takeaway from this is that high reverse T3 is often a sign that something deeper is going on. So as well as looking at that reverse T3, we need to look at the root causes. Why is that reverse T3 too high? It could be stress, it could be inflammation, there could be nutrient imbalances, but simply taking more thyroid hormone is not going to fix the problem. Instead, you need to uncover what's driving the excess reverse T3 and restore balance to your metabolism and energy levels. So with that in mind, let's dig into these root causes a little bit more. Stress is one of the most powerful triggers for excess reverse T3 production. So when you're under chronic stress, whether that's from work, relationships, over-exercising, your body is going to release high levels of cortisol, which tells your system to conserve energy by increasing reverse T3. And this is all part of the survival mode mechanism that we have. And this is where the body is going to prioritize immediate survival over metabolism and repair. And the result of that, all those symptoms, the fatigue, the brain fog, the weight gain, feeling wired but tired. Managing stress and the adrenals through lifestyle changes, nervous system regulation, maybe some adaptogenic herbs can all help to rebalance thyroid function and help bring that reverse T3 level down. Then we've got inflammation. So whether inflammation is coming from an autoimmune condition, which if your thyroid is autoimmune, that's highly likely, whether it's coming from an infection, from gut issues, from environmental toxins, and it could be coming from a mix of these things, inflammation raises reverse T3 by signaling to the body that resources need to be diverted away from metabolism and towards immune defense. Conditions like Hashimoto's or chronic infections, so things like Lyme or Epstein-Barr, mold exposure, even long COVID, can all contribute to high reverse T3 levels. And the functional medicine approach is to target the root cause of inflammation, so healing the gut, reducing toxic burden, optimizing immune function. All of these things are really key to getting to the bottom of why you've got that inflammation, dealing with the root cause of the inflammation, getting the inflammation down, which in turn brings down that reverse T3. Your thyroid also needs key nutrients to properly convert T4 into active T3. And if you're lacking in any of these, your body is much more likely to produce reverse T3 instead. So some of the most important nutrients are things like selenium. So that's required for the enzymes that convert T4 to T3, and a deficiency can lead to increased reverse T3. Zinc as well, because zinc supports thyroid hormone production and immune function. Iron and ferritin. So low iron levels can block that T4 to T3 conversion. Vitamin D as well. That's really essential for that immune balance and also for thyroid receptor sensitivity. Your B vitamins as well also come into this, especially B12 and B6. They're needed for energy production and they're also needed for neurotransmitter balance. And both of these things have an impact on thyroid function. So addressing nutrient deficiencies through diet or through, in some cases, through targeted supplementation can improve that thyroid function and lower those reverse T3 levels. Another root cause that we see is extreme dieting. And a lot of people, when they've got autoimmune or they've got symptoms, are doing extreme dieting because they're trying to heal themselves. So low carb diets, low calorie diets, fasting for too long, all of these things can spike reverse T3 levels. When the body senses that food is scarce, it's going to lower metabolism by increasing reverse T3 to help you to preserve energy. And this is why some people will feel worse on prolonged diets like the keto diet or extended fasting protocols. They're unknowingly suppressing their thyroid. So eating a really balanced, nutrient-dense meals with enough carbohydrates, enough proteins to support that proper thyroid function is really going to help to prevent that reverse T3 from rising. Another root cause we've got to look at is environmental toxins. So exposure to environmental toxins, things like pesticides, plastics, so that BPA and phthalates, heavy metals, so things like mercury, lead, arsenic, and flame retardants even. These can all disrupt thyroid function and can increase that reverse T3 level. These toxins interfere with thyroid hormone receptor function and they can mimic estrogen. So they can lead to further hormonal imbalances. Supporting detoxification pathways through liver support, through sweating, through reducing toxin exposure can all help to lower that reverse T3 and help to restore that thyroid balance. Another one that we have to take into consideration as well is certain medications. So actually some medications can interfere with thyroid hormone conversion and actually increase those reverse T3 levels. Some of the most common offenders are things like beta blockers. They can impair that T4 to T3 conversion. Corticosteroids as well. They suppress thyroid function and can increase reverse T3. The oral contraceptive or HRT, hormone replacement therapy, they can raise reverse T3 by affecting liver metabolism, and lithium as well that's sometimes given for mood disorders that can inhibit thyroid function. So if you do suspect that medication could be affecting your thyroid, then definitely speak to your doctor. Have a chat with them about alternatives or ways to support your thyroid whilst you're on those medications. We have a GP in clinic at Good Health who works in and understands a real holistic approach to health and can help to support you with this if it's something that you need. Your gut also plays a really crucial role in thyroid function. So about 20% of T4 is converted to T3 in the gut. That means that things like dysbiosis, that imbalance of gut bacteria, or SIBO, so small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, intestinal permeability or chronic infections can all impair conversion and in turn increase that reverse T3. Gut inflammation can also contribute to that overall systemic inflammation, further worsening that thyroid hormone regulation. So we really need to be addressing gut health issues. We need to be looking at probiotics, prebiotics, anti-inflammatory diets, getting anything out of the gut that shouldn't be in there, making sure that we're detoxing well. And another thing that we need to consider with that detoxification actually is how much your liver is responsible for thyroid hormone conversion. So while your gut's responsible for around 20%, your liver's actually responsible for around 60% of that thyroid hormone conversion. So if your liver is sluggish due to poor detoxification, due to alcohol consumption, high toxin load, or you've got some kind of fatty liver disease, that can result in a buildup of reverse T3 instead of active T3. So we want to support the liver. So liver supporting nutrients like choline, NAC, milk thistle, glutathione, all of these things can help to optimize thyroid function by supporting the detoxification pathways. On the lifestyle side of things, not getting enough sleep or sleeping at the wrong times, this can also drive up cortisol and inflammation, which in turn is going to raise those reverse T3 levels. So shift workers or people who frequently experience jet lag, have to travel a lot with work, or people who struggle with insomnia, or if we're just going to bed much too late, they can often have higher levels of reverse T3 and lower thyroid function. So prioritizing a really good sleep hygiene, avoiding blue light at night, and supporting melatonin production can all help to reset that thyroid balance. If you have high reverse T3, the solution isn't simply to take more thyroid medication. You've got to address the root cause because you've got enough T4, T3. Those labs might look completely normal. You've got to get to the root cause if you want to deal with high reverse T3. The best approach for this is to take a functional medicine strategy. This includes reducing stress and balancing cortisol, lowering inflammation and addressing infections, optimizing the gut and the liver function, replenishing key thyroid nutrients, making sure that we're eating a really balanced and whole foods diet, and supporting those detoxification pathways. And it really is about taking that whole body approach. By fixing these underlying issues, you can restore proper thyroid function, lower those reverse T3 levels, and finally start to see an improvement in those symptoms. So regaining that energy, speeding up that metabolism, and just generally supporting your overall well-being. This is why when I work with a patient on thyroid healing, we're not just looking at the thyroid. We take a whole body approach to the optimal version of you. And a lot of people ask me why I didn't choose to write my first book solely on thyroid health, considering that I do so much work in clinic on thyroid. And the answer is really simple. Thyroid health isn't just about the thyroid. It's about mitochondrial function. It's about adrenal function. It's about our stress response, our immune balance, how we're detoxifying, our toxin load, and so much more. And that's why I wrote Optimal You, because I wanted everybody to take a whole body approach to understand that just working on the thyroid is not going to be enough. So if you've ever had your thyroid tested and been told that everything looks normal, despite feeling exhausted, gaining weight, struggling with brain fog, you're not alone. Many doctors don't test reverse T3, which means that hidden thyroid dysfunction can go undiagnosed. Instead, most standard thyroid panels focus solely on TSH, sometimes maybe with free T4, but very rarely do they even include T3, never mind reverse T3. But the TSH and free T4, these markers are great, but they don't tell us the full story. So TSH is the standard marker used to diagnose hypothyroidism, but relying on it alone is like checking the fuel gauge in your car without actually looking at whether the engine is working. And here's why. TSH is a signal. It's not actually a hormone. It's not actually doing anything. It's signaling to tell the thyroid to produce hormones, but it doesn't show how well the body is actually using them. And your TSH can be normal even if your free T3, the active thyroid hormone, is low, and that can lead to undiagnosed hypothyroidism. Things like stress, inflammation, chronic illness, as we've seen, can all drive up that reverse T3 and block that active T3 at that cellular level, something that measuring TSH alone just can't detect. So you can see why if TSH and free T3 are normal, but reverse T3 is high, you can still have those hypothyroid symptoms because your body's just not getting enough of the active thyroid hormone that it needs. Now, the common medical approach to hypothyroidism is to keep increasing that T4 medication when symptoms persist. But this can actually backfire if it's a case that your reverse T3 levels are high. And here's why. T4 converts into both free T3, so the active T3, and reverse T3, which is the inactive, this putting the brakes on. If your body is under stress, it's inflamed, it's nutrient deficient, it's going to prioritize converting T4 into reverse T3 instead of active T3. So the more T4 can actually drive up more reverse T3, making hypothyroid symptoms worse, not better. So when we're taking something like a T4 medication, like a levothyroxine, we are putting more T4 in there, but if we're converting it to reverse T3 instead of T3, we can actually feel worse. And this is why some people feel worse on levothyroxine alone, because they're getting more T4, but their body is actually shutting down that active T3 production in response. So if you're increasing medication and you still don't feel well, you definitely should be suspecting high reverse T3, and you definitely need to be looking at whether that's an issue. Is that the thing that's behind your symptoms? And to do that, a full thyroid panel is essential. So we need to look at TSH, we need to look at T4, T3, reverse T3. We need to be looking at those thyroid antibodies, so the TPO, the TG antibodies, as well as looking at some of those key nutrients, so iron, selenium, zinc, vitamin D, checking your cortisol levels. All of these things affect that thyroid hormone conversion. Even better if we can run a stool test as well, look at one of these comprehensive gut tests as well. If high reverse T3 is slowing down your metabolism, draining your energy and making you feel sluggish, don't worry, because there is a lot that you can do to support optimal thyroid function. It's just knowing what the cause is and what you can do about it. But here are some practical science-backed steps that you can start implementing today. So number one, prioritizing nutrients that support T3 conversion. So your body needs specific nutrients to efficiently convert T4 into active T3 instead of that reverse T3. So make sure you're getting enough selenium. This is found in things like Brazil nuts, wild-caught fish, eggs, and it's essential for converting that T4 to T3 and also going to help with lowering inflammation. Then we've got zinc. So zinc is going to help to regulate thyroid hormone synthesis. You're going to get it from things like oysters, grass-fed beef, pumpkin seeds, chickpeas. And then we've got iron and ferritin. So low levels of that are going to impair that thyroid hormone production. So grass-fed red meat, spinach, lentils, we need all of these things in the diet. Iodine, again, really needed for that thyroid hormone production, but should be balanced, especially if you've got autoimmune thyroid conditions. So always best to get iodine from your food. Sources include things like seaweed, fish, and eggs. Vitamin D as well supports that immune function, supporting that thyroid health. Get sunlight exposure. We're coming up to the time of year now where you can. If you're at the time of year where you can't or your vitamin D levels are low, then we probably need to look at supplementation. And then finally, magnesium, helping with stress regulation and that T3 activity. It's found in dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and cacao as well. So some of that dark chocolate. Secondly, we can look at lifestyle shifts to help to naturally lower reverse T3. So your daily habits play a huge role in how your thyroid functions. And to keep reverse T3 in check, we can focus on things like managing stress effectively. So we've looked at that chronic stress driving up cortisol, which increases that reverse T3. Trying things like meditation, like deep breathing, gentle movement, like yoga, spending more time in nature, or using a tool like a Sensate, which is a neuromodulatory tool, that can all be really good in managing stress effectively. Prioritizing sleep as well. We've looked at how that sleep is raising that cortisol, disrupting that thyroid function. So making sure that you're getting 7 to 9 hours of really high quality sleep. Balancing your blood sugar as well. So high insulin, blood sugar spikes all contribute to reverse T3 dominance. So blood sugar balance, really important in thyroid conditions. We can avoid those ultra processed carbs. We can eat balanced meals, reduce sugars in the diet. Make sure that we're getting protein and healthy fats and fiber at all the meals. All of these things can help to balance the blood sugar. We can also look at reducing inflammation, so inflammatory foods as well. Making sure that we've got a diet really rich in those anti-inflammatory foods is going to help. And avoiding overtraining. So intense exercise without proper recovery is going to raise that cortisol and that reverse T3. So instead, it might be that we need to look at things like strength training, walking, low impact workouts instead of that excessive cardio work. And knowing where you're at with your adrenals can be really beneficial in figuring out what type of training you should be doing. The third thing that we can do is learn how to advocate for proper thyroid testing. This can be difficult in the UK because the doctors obviously are tied by the NHS regulations. If that's the case, then looking outside of the NHS, looking outside of the conventional healthcare system and into functional medicine is going to be the answer for this. But many standard thyroid panels just don't test for reverse T3, and that leaves people misdiagnosed or in some cases overtreated. If you suspect high reverse T3, make sure that you request a full panel. If you can't get the full panel from your doctor, then you need to look outside, work with a functional medicine practitioner. But we should be looking for TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, thyroid antibodies, and those key nutrients. So iron, ferritin, selenium, zinc, vitamin D. Make sure that when you're speaking to your doctor, you explain your symptoms really clearly. If your doctor only wants to check TSH, really emphasize that your symptoms suggest a conversion issue, which TSH alone is not going to help to reveal. If you can't get the GP to run a full panel, then consider private testing. That's always a great option to get the answers that you need. And like I've said, think about working with a functional medicine practitioner. If you're struggling to get the right support, a specialist in functional medicine can really help you to interpret your labs, get you the full panels done, and create that personalized plan to optimize your thyroid health. High reverse T3 isn't just a number on a lab test. It can be a major roadblock to you feeling your best. But the good news is that by supporting your thyroid with the right nutrients, by managing stress, balancing your blood sugar, advocating for proper testing, all the things that we've talked about in this episode, you can take control of your thyroid health and start feeling like yourself again. If you're looking for more personalized support, I'd love to help, whether that is through testing, targeted nutrition, step-by-step plans, or anything that we can do to help balance your thyroid, restore your energy and your metabolism. You can find the links below this episode in the show notes to book in a consultation or a thyroid assessment, and let's get to the root cause of what's really holding you back. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of the Good Health Podcast. I hope that this has been useful for you and given you some information and ideas on how to improve your health. Please do share the episode if you think somebody else may benefit from it. Like it and follow the podcast. We'll see you next week on the Good Health Podcast.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Good Health Podcast. Do share the episode with anyone you think it may benefit and help us to spread the word on all things health and wellness by rating, liking, or subscribing to the podcast. If you want more, you can listen to more episodes on your favourite podcast app or sign up to my newsletter for my favourite tips, tricks, health advice, brands, recipes, and more at nicolegoodhealth.com/newsletter. Have a lovely week. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Good Health Podcast.